It's a new era in the WWE. Let's get it. Pro Wrestling Shout! What is going on, everybody? I am Jesse Carter. Joined with me, as always, James Pinard Jr. James, it's been a monumental moment, a monumental day in professional wrestling today. We're going to be talking about the merger with Endeavor and the WWE.
Yeah, very something we never seen. You know, we go back to a little over a year ago from Vince being out of the company, then coming back, and then you get the word at day 2 of WrestleMania of it's completely sold to Endeavor, and here we are in I forgot the date, September 12th. So it's been since April. So what is that? 5 months. 5 months, and
it did
here
not
we
take
are.
long.
Yeah,
wasn't that long of a process before this happened, but I feel like we need to clear a few things up, though. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of misconceptions going around about the sale of WWE. It's not necessarily the case. Vince McMahon is still very, very much in charge. He is still the chairman of the WWE. It's basically WWE sitting under the corporate umbrella of Endeavor. Vince McMahon has just made himself a lot of money off of this deal.
Simple terms, they didn't buy the company. It's just a merger, and there was no check.
Yep,
no check. Terms.
No check given. So I mean,
he doesn't have full control, but he has a chairman seat with TKO.
He is still the chairman of TKO.
Yes, but he doesn't have full on power if he does something, which I know the feds are still on him, and if something comes up, they can vote him off.
Interesting times. Let's hit up the chat, man. Lucha Libre memes, welcome back. He says TKO, TKO, TKO. And then he says, when you say merger, I think of Jackie Moon in the Flint, Michigan tropics. Oh, Jackie Moon. I love Jackie that movie, dude. I haven't even thought about it.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
Frodo, what's going on? He says, yo.
We're
going to Frodo. WWE this weekend, man. We got some tickets for WWE. I think it's called Super Show.
Something like that.
Interesting. What's interesting about that event is that Super Show is in my area, which only if you know, you know. This area is not a huge wrestling place, but it is a huge WWE place as of late. This little arena that we have has sold more tickets than the past 5 Dynamites, James, which is crazy. This is not on
it's
TV.
Crazy. It's funny you mentioned that because they have a house show down in Palm Springs, which some people were pretty ballsy going down there with the 100+ degree weather. And it has what I think 8K, which Dynamite hasn't got, and they can't even get that for Grand Slam.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary.
It's wild, man. We're going to talk a little bit about the state of AEW too here in a little bit, but really not much to say on it. It's just, they have their waves, right? Like they're going up, they go down, they go up, they go down. It's just they're in a funk right now, but we'll dive into that. We're going to talk some Vince McMahon here for a little bit. Steve Kelly says, "Hey guys, how are you doing?" We're doing good, Steve. Steve, I heard you had some bad news again. I hope you get well soon, man.
Speedy recovery, well wishes.
Yes, I don't know if you are watching the show from the hospital, but man, we're right there with you, buddy. So I appreciate you stopping by. Everything Pro Wrestling says, yo. And then he says, love me sexy, Jackie Moon. Oh, man. If you know, you know. That's such a great movie, dude. I love me some Will Ferrell. Gabe, what's going on? He says, have fun at the Super Show on Kennewick's, or in Kennewick. I'm in Yakima. Wish I was Wow, dude. I didn't know you were so close to me. That's awesome that we have some more local people that enjoy the pro wrestling shoot. Yakima is literally, I don't know, 50 minutes up the road, I would say. Maybe an hour.
Yeah.
but not far at all, man. If you could make it down, Gabe, they still do have some tickets. They're not sold out, but you should come, man. You should come. I'd love to meet you. Frodo says it looks like it's going to be packed. Yeah, Frodo, we're all going together. So we're going to try to get Michael to go too, but we'll see. See how it goes. Lucha says, I can't stand the insecure dudes who think this merger will change the UFC. I love both companies, but tired of MMA fans bashing wrestling and pretending they weren't hooked as a kid. That's true, man. Well, UFC has really gone downhill. If you haven't checked the last pay-per-view, man, it's totally
It's
Jersey shored out, man, with the bros and UFC now.
it's not the
talk on the
same.
mics.
You know, like I want to say it's same with like boxing. Like boxing was relevant probably like mid 2000s. UFC was about the same way. And then they started, you know, now the talk is like doing celebrity fights. The last time boxing UFC got some reputation was when McGregor decided, you know, let me fight Mayweather. Now it's just, you know, we hear the Paul brothers here and there. And I mean, look what the UFC had. They had what, 2 guys go off on what was it, after winning their matches, go off and you know,
post fight interview. Yeah.
So, you know,
post fight interview, they said some stupid things, and stupid people will be stupid people at the end of the day, man. Frodo says, sorry, just popping in to say hi. I'll have to take the old lady to her birthday dinner. Oh, tell her I said happy birthday, man.
Yeah, happy birthday.
You go and enjoy that. Trust me, we're always here next week. Actually, we're going to be streaming again this Thursday. So we have a bonus podcast this Thursday. I'm going to have a Symbol on the show. If you don't know who a Symbol is and you like wrestling video games, then you're obviously living under a rock and you haven't been on YouTube the past couple of years. He's been killing the game. I'm excited to talk some WWE 2K24 with him this Thursday. Same time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I work a shoot job, brother. So, I mean, I can't get on here in the mornings. I get on here after work. You know what I mean? I'm not a podcaster full time. I'm not a YouTuber full time. I literally do this as a hobby and a passion project at the moment. I would love to eventually make some money off of it. I'm not going to lie. But at the end of the day, man, I'm having fun doing what I'm doing and get to enjoy talking pro wrestling with my good friend James. I get to enjoy going on Everything Pro Wrestling show, and I get to enjoy editing video, which is what I'm really passionate about. I love editing video, and if you haven't checked out our short videos on our channel, go and do so, man. We've been dropping some content. I'm excited about it. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, make sure to give that 5-star rate and a friendly review. Helps us out, man. Helps us grow on the audio side. And also, if you're watching on Spotify, thanks, man. Thanks for supporting us because we do have video on Spotify. So that's really appreciative. And if you're on Spotify, man, catch us at 5 p.m., dude. Come in here on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. It's a lot of fun in the chat. Let's see here. Steve Kelly says, yeah, I'm in the hospital still. That sucks, man. That really sucks. Lucha says, wanted to tune into a show while I wait for the NXT main event. That's what's up, man. I appreciate you stopping
NXT has really been boosting itself. Very good.
If it boosts itself too much, we might have to change our time slot again. Might have to go on an Impact Day on Thursdays or something.
Football, buddy.
Football, that's not as popular. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're freaking fanatic over here.
Yeah.
Curtis, what's going on, man? Welcome to the chat. He says, so what's going to happen to WWE now? So far, we don't think anything. I don't think anything is happening. It's just under a new corporate umbrella. They're going to make billions of dollars again. I'm assuming WWE ticket prices are going to shoot through the sky.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they're going to be doing a lot of weekend shows now where you have a pair for WWE, UFC in the same city each time. I'm not sure what's going on, but
very smart. You know, I mean, when what was it? When we were in Vegas, they had a UFC event the night before, if I'm not mistaken. Or UFC was around the same time. Was it a different state? And SummerSlam was the same day. So it's a good collective thing of why not, you know, make it an attraction. You guys do Sunday, we'll do Saturday. Or vice versa.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, it's good for the business. I would say there's probably going to be some changes, you know, not so quickly, maybe 2024. Not too much of a change, but you might just go back and have to pay-per-views.
A lot of people are also talking about like the merger between the video game companies, right? Because UFC has the EA side of things and WWE has 2K. What I do know is WWE 2K has signed a multi-year contract. After 2K22, they signed that contract. Now, I don't know how many years that contract is worth, but and I don't know if they can be bought out of that contract. All I can know is that I would not want to see a wrestling game made on EA. That's all I could say. As far as the UFC and WWE goes, when you're seeing some merging happening, I can definitely see a Conor McGregor showing up at WrestleMania doing some stuff. I can definitely see some WWE guys showing up during a UFC pay-per-view. It's not out of the realm of possibilities.
It's been the common thing, you know. Yeah. I mean, Lesnar went from WWE to UFC, Ronda Rousey, vice versa. Matt Riddle came from there. You know, a lot of them, you know, as much as they don't mention it as much, they, you know, some of these guys do say they want to go to WWE. You know, we've heard it from who is it that I can't remember what's his name. I know Rampage Jackson. I know he's done some time with Impact. I know
Daniel
he's mentioned
Cormier
in the
wanted to be
Daniel Cormier was one of them.
He wanted to be an announcer for WWE, and he still may.
And WWE stars go over there. I mean, they've showed them, you know.
Oh yeah,
Rey Mysterio. Same with like, you know,
Undertaker,
Brock. Even AEW has shown up as well.
It's not impossible.
Yeah. So
do I think that UFC stars going to WWE would benefit WWE more than it would vice versa? Yes, because UFC stars going over to WWE is a little more universal rather than WWE stars going to MMA, because most people that watch the UFC want nothing to do with professional wrestling. Like they're just not fans.
Brock was a big one, I want to say. Ken Shamrock was somewhat not, I know there was different times. He was somewhat of a, you know, he put eyes on the product.
Dan Severn. Another one. He brought all the UFC titles with him when he came over. So that was
Matt Riddle, not much, but I've heard some people that he got some looks.
Yeah. It's gonna be
it's gonna be vice versa, you know. But the whole thing with UFC and WWE and the whole, you know, would they go EA Games? Would they go TK? I think they're just gonna honestly just keep them separate. Just throw in like, hey, give us a couple of UFC guys in your game. We'll throw WWE guys on our side. Nothing. I don't think anything major. I mean, it would be interesting. We got a EA version of WWE. I know THQ tried it with UFC and it was awful. I know, and what was the UFC Undisputed? I know those games were not great that I can remember.
What? UFC Undisputed was the best UFC. UFC Undisputed 2?
You'd be surprised. Well, they dropped them. They said the sales were quite terrible. That's why they dropped them.
Tripping. That was the best mechanics in the game. I thought. I hated the EA versions of that game. That was, you're tripping. Remember me? I had like the ultimate record on that game. Like I was running around like 200 something wins and like 3 losses unranked.
Let's see. This is back on 2012. THQ sold UFC license after failing to break even. They weren't making money. UFC Undisputed 3, was doing terrible on sales.
Yeah, Undisputed 3 is different. That game sucked.
That's the one I was mentioning.
THQ was dope, dude. THQ made that game. So, let me see here. Let's get some stuff going on. Lucha says, I know you guys are hooked on 6 hours of Stadium Stampede daily. Sarcasm. LOL. But have you fellas checked out Starfield? No, but I've heard a lot of good things
I've heard about it too.
I think I am gonna check it out. You know what? I got Saints Row, the free game that they gave me on my PlayStation Plus. I'm checking that out right now. I've heard some terrible things, but I'm gonna play it.
It's a nostalgia, you know.
Yeah. Well, this is just like a reboot game. It's not I don't know. Everything Pro Wrestling says, interested to see brand synergy. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Lucha, the main thing that will change about WWE/UFC is the Saturday pay-per-view versus PLE clashing. WWE will get bumped to Sundays more than likely. My fear is the Peacock deal. Endeavor might want WWE pay-per-views again. It could happen, but here's the thing that changes for me. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If WWE wants pay-per-views again and goes back to the pay-per-view style of doing things, where I'm paying $30 to $40 a show, I'm going to be watching a whole lot less WWE.
You know
I'm
where
not.
I'll be? I'll be
You
watching
can.
it on some
Yeah. Yeah,
back to the
we'll be
old days.
streaming, brother. We'll always be
Yeah,
streaming over here.
yeah.
You can't get somebody used to paying 13, well, at first it was $9.99, right? $9.99, and then it went to Peacock. You got the I don't get the ads, so I still pay $9.99, and I think they
Mm-hmm.
jumped it now. I pay like $13. I would still much rather pay that per month than pay a $50 pay-per-view hike. It's not happening for me, dude. It's not happening. You can't get somebody used to that way of doing things and then hike up the prices. But we'll see, man. We'll see. It's not like most people won't pay for it because there's so many fans of WWE, it's insane. They'll pay for it. They'll pay
Yeah.
for it.
But yes, I do see that very because I don't recall if UFC ever done pay-per-views on Sunday. Usually it's a Saturday regimen. I know WWE does like going into the Saturday realm now because AEW would
Yeah.
do the Sundays, vice versa, the other way around.
Yeah.
But I would think they would want, hey, give us the deal. You go on Saturdays. We've always, been standard Saturdays, and WWE pay-per-views have always been Sundays for the longest time we know, and then Saturdays just pulled in. So it's probably the smarter decision.
Yeah, Everything Pro Wrestling says, Lucha, how much would you pay for a WWE pay-per-view in 2023? Everything Pro Wrestling is asking the chat the same question. And then he also said, love the THQ version of Undisputed. Yeah, dude, that was goated. That game was dope. And he says, it was because they were doing yearly. Yep. And then Lucha says everything. I've always believed both UFC and WWE pay-per-views would sell tons if pay-per-views were $20 a pop. See, if they were $20 a pop and it was once a month, I don't think I would have a problem with that.
I think it's going to be if they go back to that regimen, because I know Nick Khan has mentioned that they might do that. I think if you're going to do that, and we have both agreed, do it for your big four. So your SummerSlam, your WrestleMania, your Survivor Series.
Vince McMahon bought this company for $1 million, James, from his father.
Yes.
Told his father that he would never take over the territories and never take it public. He has since done both.
Yeah.
He's made tons of business decisions over the years that have made him millions. He's almost become bankrupt when it came to the Attitude Era and going up against WCW and almost went out of business. Fought back, ended up putting on the better show. Destroyed WCW, ended up buying out his competition. And it all started with his father, man.
Yeah, here we are. 40, I believe it's 41 years. He bought it in 82 at, like you mentioned, 1 million. And now it's worth 9.3 billion.
That's crazy, dude. What a W. What an absolute W.
So, like, it's funny because this guy was at the worst of his time period. We thought we were never going to see him again. We thought he was just hidden. And then he just pushes his foot through the door, takes everything control, and here he is. Still going through his issues.
You can
lay low.
You can say what you want about this man. I think that he's one of the smartest businessmen to ever do it, man. Like, this dude held off on selling the company. He said he was always open for business. And he found the right guy during the right time, during all the controversy, that was willing to put up with the controversy and still keep him in business. Keep him a chairman.
It's a win for him.
It's a dirty world we play in the fight game. Let me just say that. Like, there's some dirty stuff going on every year.
Hey, Dana got on board. Yeah. He's had his controversy.
Dana White's had plenty of controversy. Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon smoking a stogie.
Yeah, I think that was at a house show at Madison Square Garden.
I believe it. So that was their territory, man. New York.
Yeah.
New York City. This is what it looked like outside of the stock exchange for TKO. 2 giant replica titles for both the WWE and the UFC. And this is the reason why the WWE will never change that title now moving forward. You might see color changes, but because they have that brand logo strapped right on the front of it, it speaks volumes.
You'll see it on, I don't know. Yeah, you'll see it on UFC. You already see it in the NFL, the NBA already selling belts. I mean, they're the top dog, and now you're with UFC, so that's just going to put more
But
eyeballs on
WWE
it.
was, I believe, the first one to adapt the logo in the front, and then UFC changed their titles. UFC used to have some awesome looking belts. And when they
Yes.
changed it to that octagon, man, I was really hurt. I was really hurt by
And you know what Dana said? I don't care.
Yeah. It's wild, man. Lucha said UFC pay-per-views are $80 a pop, and Dana wonders why I turn into Captain Jack Sparrow on fight nights. Yeah. That's not a lie, man. I can't order. First of all, they don't even have the fighters to keep my attention anymore. Like UFC is just a whole different thing for me now. I will tune into my nephew who fights for the UFC, Dan Ige. Tune into his fights. That is my nephew. I will tune into his fights, but that's just about it.
Yeah,
that is
it's
just about
it's
it.
usual, like with boxing, UFC. You usually tune in to the main event fights. That's really when everyone goes and watches it. $80 a pop. I know if the match ended with 1 minute, there was numerous calls to the cable companies. Hey, I want a refund. They would grant them it.
Yeah,
They would grant them it for the longest time, and I'm surprised they never changed from $80. I don't know if it will change in the future, but I know 80's been always the standard for them.
Gabe says we all owe Vince a debt of gratitude for giving us the business we all love. And that's a fact, dude. Like, look, like I said, you could say what you want about this man. Like he is a piece of trash and things that he's done is terrible. But at the same time, without Vince McMahon, dude, there is no mainstream wrestling. I don't believe this circus show would have ever made it mainstream in public.
Yeah.
A lot of people believe that a company would have broken out and done that. I don't. I don't see it happening. Man.
It's just he had the guns at the time. He had the right people.
He brought
with him.
stardom to life when it came to wrestling. He took all the talent from every territory, right? He took Andre, he took Hogan, he took Jarrett, he took, you know what I mean? He took everybody at the time. So it's
he had eyeballs on the product. When you're getting 10 million on the product, you had WCW, which boosted it as well. You had a rival company, and he beat that one down. And the things he's done, yeah, they're not the best situations. We don't all agree with, but look where we're at. We're still watching. It's still a relevant product, and here we are.
Lucha says people hate the WWE Championship because it looks like a marketing gimmick, but that's exactly it. They're number one. Of course, the belts are going to have that big logo. Yeah, it's a fact. Me personally, I like that good old big, like the big gold or the winged eagle. Like those are my classic titles. Hashtag
and you
my
think about it,
championships.
yeah, they're not the only ones. I mean, if you go look at NBA jerseys or NFL, people would be bugged. Hey, why is the NFL logo on the back or in the corner with my size? It's for marketing. It's for marketing. Oh, hey, you got that jersey from NFL.com or NBA.com.
Or you got it at a swap
or wherever, or
took the logo and put it on.
Yeah, that's
You got that bootleg, sir.
Yeah, I know.
Matthew Lopez, welcome to the chat, man. He says, can't take away the fact that there is no AEW ROH Impact without Vince McMahon and WWE. Well, I could do without Impact, sir, all day. But I do like AEW. I know that that's slanderous.
That AEW Ring of Honor merger.
You know what? I am going to check out Impact's 1000th episode because the Dudley Boys are on it, and I heard there's some other surprises going on. So I might check that out.
In that 500 people in that arena?
Whatever it is. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing the Dudley Boys, which, by the way, the Dudley Boys have signed a Legends deal with the WWE, so we could be probably looking forward to seeing them in WWE 2K24, which I'm really excited about. Hopefully we can get the full Dudley Boys. How you feel about Big Dick Dudley, James?
Jeez. And Spike and all them, and yeah, probably. I mean, it would be marvelous if you ever got them in the game. I don't think maybe they were in the older games, right? Like what was the ECW? No, like the whole entire clan. All the Dudleys.
Oh well, yeah. I don't.
I think it was like ECW. I think it was like ECW Anarchy or something. There was a couple ECW games or ECW Rules or whatever it was called back in the day.
Yes, they were in those ones. Yeah, yeah. So
Be
That's
interesting,
crazy,
but
man.
smart decision. I know people were telling Tony, "Hey, you should look at him." Nope, they already jumped. They already jumped him on that one. So smart decision.
There were some crazy photos taken today at the stock exchange. You got Bianca Belair, Montez Ford, Triple H standing on one side of Vince McMahon, and then you got the UFC crew standing on the other. It's
Yep.
Interesting times, man. Interesting times.
And it's interesting. I should have put the photo out there. It was Triple H right next to Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. So is there a potential talks there of them going to Amazon, which
Could
would be smart? I mean,
I think it would be stupid, personally. I don't want them to go to Amazon. I don't want.
After failing to get the
it.
NFL, YouTube took that. I think they would probably take everything they can for WWE. Jeff would take that in a heartbeat. I know Disney would. I don't know who would contribute a lot better. Disney would have so much on their hands, and so does Amazon. They're two big companies. So
I would personally, I said it before, I would say it again, man. With the type of wrestling and the type of entertainment WWE is, I would much rather see them make it to a Disney, because I can imagine like the theme park that comes along with it in the Disney parks. How cool that would be for wrestling fans to go to, like, WWE land or whatever that looks like. I think that would be pretty cool to have WWE merch sold at
and there's nothing
Disneyland
against Disney.
markup.
They did an excellent job with Star Wars. I know everyone bashed it at first when it was a sell, and it was the biggest thing around. Still is. They have their own theme park, like you mentioned, for Star Wars, and WWE land would be something you could see. You'd probably you get little merger cartoons like Mickey Mouse in a WWE ring or something like that.
Yeah. Tokyo Dominus, what's going on, man? He says Nia Jax, women's wrestling in USA is dead.
Vince had one more up a sleeve, pal. Why are we surprised?
I honestly always enjoyed Nia Jax personally. Like, I don't think she's that bad. Like, I mean,
she's had her hiccups, but hey, you guys we wanted something fresh and new. If she gets someone injured, they put Becky on the block. Now I know it wasn't the right way. She has
injured quite a bit, so I understand that. But
don't put her against Charlotte again. So we're just gonna have a shoot fight.
I mean, look, we gave Sasha a break, right? Sasha's injured people. She's injured herself countless times. So why can't we give Nia Jax a break? I don't know. Nia Jax isn't that bad to me, personally. Matthew Lopez says this Thursday Impact 1000th episode will go past 2-hour time frame. Interesting. Might have to record it then. Everything Pro Wrestling says
one time.
Yeah, I can't see Amazon. Me neither, man. I don't really see it. Amazon buyout. I don't know. I don't know. The
richest man in the world too.
Look, man. I just don't see as many eyes getting on Amazon as there would be like a Disney. I just don't. More people have the Disney Plus network, I want to believe.
Oh yeah, the kids, the ones I mentioned numerous of times, they put butts in those seats.
Yeah. Matthew Lopez says Vince McMahon with his Gomez Adam looking ass. Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, well, Gomez Adams
says
is
WWE
laughing.
on Amazon Prime. Everything Pro Wrestling says, but I could see Friday on like ABC. Interesting. Tokyo Dominus says Disney too woke. Wow. I don't. Yeah. Well. Maybe for WWE's taste, yeah, huh? Now that I'm thinking about it, who knows, man? Everything Pro Wrestling says possibly Thursdays too. Why not, man? Let's put it on Wednesday, head to head with Dynamite. Why not? Let's do that.
What's that little pissant company gonna do anyways?
That's what I want to see. I want to see a WWE show go head to head with Dynamite.
It's coming soon. I know that.
If that's the case, then Tony Khan can finally start giving a shit about his fans' opinions on what he should be doing.
Yeah,
with his company.
I mean, sorry, Tony, but just pushing him on the Jaguars game ain't gonna do it.
Yeah. Jaguars did win last night, didn't they?
Yeah, pretty good team. Pretty good team. His dad takes care of his.
I was watching it at Wingstop. I went to Wingstop and I was watching the Mariners game, and then on the other side it was the Jaguars. And I remember telling my wife the Jaguars are probably the saddest team in the NFL, and then they ended up playing a really good game.
No,
so,
they're not that sad anymore. Not since last year, and a lot of people are predicting.
Well, good. Maybe they'll win a Super Bowl, and then we can give him one of those custom WWE titles at the end of the year. That would be great.
Right. It's going to be an AEW plated one.
Everything Pro Wrestling says no Amazon because not enough ad revenue, and you'll lose 50 plus audience. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like Conrad is probably more close than everybody when it comes down to ABC because it's television. I don't see WWE taking SmackDown, which is seen by what 3 million people each week. I don't see them taking that and putting it on a streaming service. Now you're putting a paywall behind SmackDown. I don't know, man.
ESPN.
I don't
That is
see
another
ESPN
option.
either.
I mean, the only reason I'm saying ESPN, I mean, I know they got
They went to
ESPN, the Ocho.
ESPN, they'd be taking SmackDown on different days every single week because of football or because of
You
MLB or
know what?
because of basketball.
Well,
I don't see that happening. I think
well,
ABC will probably be the close.
not if
I
the
don't know,
news
man.
says anything. I mean, I know that's been a major function for them for years.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
don't know, man. I don't know.
it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, ESPN, I know, has been a pilot for many years. I know they've done here and there. I know they just talked to Nick Khan about certain questions. CM Punk's
Yeah.
name came up. They've been doing more and more wrestling here and there. So I mean, it wouldn't put it past them if they ever decided, hey, let's just go on ESPN.
I think ABC sounds good to me
because
though.
it's a local channel. Yeah, it's Channel 7.
Yeah.
It's been around for years. It's just as big as Fox, you know.
Derek says, welcome to the chat, by the way. He says, I think WWE SmackDown needs to be moved to Tuesday night and NXT needs to go back to Wednesday night. That you might not be far off from that, to be honest.
I mean, it worked. Would you do the live Tuesdays like they did for that short period? Or would you just do the tapings and
Listen,
put it
I
on a Friday?
liked SmackDown on Tuesday. I thought it was really nice on Tuesday because
Give
I
you a
thought
break on
that was,
Fridays, you
yeah.
don't have nothing to watch. Hey,
If
you're already doing
SmackDown goes to
stuff.
Tuesday, we are changing the time of the pro wrestling shoot. I guarantee, because a lot of our listeners and a lot of our viewers that do pop into our chats, for the most part, are all WWE people. So I don't want to lose our listeners as well. So we will definitely line up with whatever SmackDown's on. Maybe we'll go live after SmackDown at 7:00. Who knows? Which will be really late for you East Coast folk. But does Vince McMahon just not look like Vince McMahon anymore?
Yeah, I know.
This
Him would do
photo
it.
here.
Yeah. That one particular and the little montage video of him like doing the Hogan strut and get everyone hyped up.
I about died when I seen him do the ear thing. Is it bad though when he did that I immediately thought, oh, CM Punk's coming to WWE? Spoiler alert, CM Punk's coming.
I don't know. The way Nick Khan put it, I'm taking it the other way. Like, oh yeah, well, we respect him what he did. We wish him the best.
Well, that's the Nick Khan answer. If you haven't seen any interviews from Nick Khan answers the same way every single time he is asked, who's coming to the company? Is this guy coming to the company? Do we have a chance? He's always going to answer in his business fashion, man. He's never going to come out and be like hinting to CM Punk coming.
Yeah.
So
no.
yeah, no,
get filmed.
It's not happening. Everything Pro Wrestling says, look, ABC lineup, it's light on Fridays and Thursdays. There you go, man. But if WWE went back to Thursdays, would that be bad for an Impact Wrestling who is barely hanging on?
See,
that's a
now you're making me look up the numbers because what were the numbers? Because I heard good things when they were on UPN for many years on Thursdays. Worked perfectly fine.
Matthew Lopez, Dollar Store Gomez, Adams looking ass. Dude, his hair was so dark I hardly recognized this guy, man. Like he's got a black mustache and black hair. Like it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Gomez, Derek says, I could be wrong, but WWE SmackDown could stay on Friday nights. It could. I think it went to Friday nights because that was what fit the Fox agenda. So there's no doubt about a possible change because it could happen.
I mean, if they'll find a formula, they did it with I don't remember what day. I think
shoe polish.
What was ECW on, like Wednesdays or something on Sci-Fi, and then I know SmackDown was on there for a little bit. I mean, we either won Tuesdays or Thursdays. Thursdays was perfectly fine. Here's the thing, though, too.
They have a selling point for WWE because now they pretty much do what the networks want them to do, except for USA. USA, you get whatever's left over. That's I don't understand how that works. But Fox, because they paid $300+ million or whatever it was, the last deal, I guess WWE is asking for that now, 300 plus million for a couple years on the network. It's so crazy that we're at a spot now in WWE history to where, like, they're not renting out buildings, they're not renting out networks, they're not shopping for anything. People are shopping for the WWE. That's how big the WWE is. It's crazy as a brand when you think about it, that we have cities bid on WrestleMania because of how much tourism it brings in. We have networks bid on WWE because of how much ad revenue.
It's like the Olympics. It's already got to that capacity. It's huge. It brings in revenue.
It's really wild to me, man. It's crazy that WWE is this big. I always thought WWE was a great thing back in the Attitude Era and before that, even when I was watching it before, but never have I ever seen it at a business state that it is right now. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. So I don't know. I don't know. Matthew Lopez says if WWE goes back to Thursday, that will hurt Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling might have to switch over, man.
Yeah, what day? Tuesdays, Wednesdays? They've been all over the place. I know they used to do them on Mondays when Raw was on at times.
I think I'm more worried about a WWE going to a Thursday and interfering with an Impact Wrestling, even though I don't support Impact Wrestling, right? I don't watch it that much, just when it's suggested or whatever. Like, I'll watch this 1000th episode. Is it this Thursday? I'll check it out this Thursday.
This Thursday, it would work perfectly fine for Thursdays. I mean, yeah, the only run is Thursday Night Football, which hasn't been great for Amazon. You don't really have much issues compared to Fridays. You know, I mean, I know it's been a few times where they had to move to FS1. I can't think of many times they switched over from Thursdays, like from being on UPN to, hey, some event came on, we got to change it over. I mean, Thursdays would fit as well. It's before the weekend starts. Would be perfectly fine.
It'll be interesting, man. But like I said before, I would be more worried about it going head to head with an Impact because they're such a small company and they've been through so much as a company, rather than an AEW, because I feel like this would light that fire under Tony Khan's ass to make some really good, compelling television on AEW, rather than just putting wrestling matches on, right? Like, because it's a crazy thing. I've even heard rumors of possibly WBD going after putting bids on WWE as well. So that's crazy. I don't know.
I'm surprised. For the many years, I haven't heard anybody say this. I haven't really seen anybody mention this. That USA Network, I'm surprised they never wanted to grab SmackDown one time. I know they've always had, been a big supporter of Raw. I'm surprised they don't want to throw in a SmackDown on their TV station here and there.
Definitely interesting, man. Definitely interesting. What a sight, man! Outside of this stock exchange, I really like that TKO logo too.
The Tony Khan overrated.
I don't know about all that, James. Damn. But I don't know, man. I don't know. But let's get into a couple more comments. Everything Pro Wrestling says TK got the roster to compete with WWE. I don't know, man. He's got a big roster, but he doesn't have any star power. In my opinion, I don't know.
Like, I don't know.
The star? Like, MJF? That's it, right? Like, who else do we got?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to throw in other names, Kenny and them, but MJF's like the big caliber
they ain't
kid.
Stars, dude. Those guys lose ratings. They don't gain ratings. I don't know. That's crazy. Like, people that think the Elite are gaining ratings are
not the Bucks. Kenny, I think, is a different story compared to those two.
Yeah, his wrestling, but when it comes to compelling story, like, have you heard a Kenny Omega promo?
Oh, yeah.
Is he the best promo you've ever heard, or what? No. How you feel about Big Dick Dudley?
Put him on the game.
Oh, Jesus.
Brian, I know you're watching. Put Big Dick on there.
Look, man, I do think that if they can write some good storytelling, look, I like Jon Moxley. Like, I still think Jon Moxley tells one hell of a promo. I know some people get annoyed with him, but Not me. I enjoy me some John Moxley. I enjoy me some Willer Yuta. I love seeing Daniel Garcia dance around everywhere. That's entertaining to me. What I can't stand is seeing a Chris Jericho every single week. Being in top programs. That's just, I don't know. I don't see what TK has going up against a huge roster that WWE has right now. It's all preference at the end of the day, but these guys are much bigger stars over in WWE.
And you're on a channel that's not as populated, compared to back in the day. He's going to have some problems in October when NBA comes by, because you know how TNT feels about. I know obviously Dynamite's on TBS, Collisions is on Saturday on TNT, which there's going to be some problems with that. TBS, you're already going to have baseball playoffs, so there's going to be some moves. I've always found it bad when they have to move the shows. Oh, we got to do a Tuesday night edition of Dynamite. We got to move we're going to tape it, but put it on Saturday. I've always found that, they've done that probably a lot more.
Monday Night Raw used to do that kind of stuff too. Remember?
Yeah, with the dog. Yeah, with the dog show, which was making money. You can't blame USA for all that for many years.
I remember coming home from school and getting so stoked for WWE, and then when I turned on Monday Night Raw and it was a dog show,
but it gets the ratings. It gets the viewership.
You don't understand how pissed off I was on a Monday night as a child.
Yeah,
tuning into a dog show.
What the hell is this? Dogs? Oh, we'll see you on Saturday.
Real mad, sir. Real mad.
Yeah, you have to watch it on tape delay.
Ugh. So, I mean, obviously,
here's a question: how would if let's just put it in a what if system? How would AEW do if they were on Fox? Would they get would they ever, how would they do on viewership? Would they get up in the mills?
It depends, dude, because look, WWE is that family-friendly show. They don't have blood every single time on their shows. AEW Dynamite does. So, if you're a parent and you're letting your kid watch wrestling and then you tune into an AEW and you see some of the stuff that they put on, are you going to let your kid watch it?
Yeah, it was, and I think that's why I was.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of where
Fox
we're at.
How is Fox? I know Fox is kind of like, all right, well, what a little couple things. We're not, we want some, we want some sluttiness. We want some, we want more sexual content on there, which the AEW would probably produce that. We want swearing. We want blood. They would probably meet to the demand
for WWE.
Oh, I think it wouldn't put it past me if Vince did it.
He won't. They're having cinnamon toast crunch matches. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to sell cinnamon toast crunch when you got bra and panties matches going on? Not going to happen.
I would say after
brother, this makes me want some cereal right away.
You can get two women. You can get them wrestling in a cereal bowl.
You're gonna be thinking of milk, but it's not the milk that you're thinking about pouring on cereal. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
It's I don't see WWE
cream of the crop.
They're done with the blood and guts, brother.
Yeah.
We all know that Triple H is the chief chief of content operator, whatever the hell is.
Yeah.
But we all know who's running the show, man. We all know who's back in business.
Yeah, so
let's put a cap on this discussion and let's talk about the state of AEW, James. Any last words on Vincent Kennedy McMahon and the Endeavor deal?
Hey, it was it was a matter of time, and he got what he wanted. I actually asked this to a guy that I was going to work to, and I mentioned it to him. I want to see how you answer. Do you think Vince ever had it in his will, if he ever passed away, to give it to the kids? Like, oh, give it to Stephanie to hold the company, or would he just say, no one's? I think he's like, nope, it's going to come with me.
I don't think he did, ever.
If he would give it to anybody,
we still have zero explanation to why Stephanie McMahon stepped down and left.
Yeah.
When a month before that, she was saying that it was her passion. It was her dream.
Until Daddy said, nope.
And then Vince came back, and all of a sudden she had stepped down. She has nothing to do with the company anymore.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like, oh, is it in the will? I'm pretty sure he's gonna take that to the grave. He's Ric Flair, if you will. I'm gonna die with the company. Ain't no one taking this baby. I'll sell it to someone before you guys get it.
He'll inject poison, brother.
Yeah.
I created it.
Punk mentioned it.
I
mean, he went off and said, "Oh, he's not going to give it to them. No way."
Yeah. Everything Pro Wrestling says AEW has lots and lots of eggs in WBD basket. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's like that's their bread and butter, man. That's their bread and butter. AEW has to make them happy, and it could come back to haunt them.
You know, they're very happy with it from what we've heard.
Yeah, yeah. Everything Pro Wrestling said, I would say possibly too many. Matthew Lopez says it's only a matter of time before AEW content live pay-per-views, Dynamite, Rampage, Collision is in Max streaming service. I don't think that Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision will be going to Max streaming service. I think
it's just pay-per-view basis. The other stuff just leave on TV.
Although I would be pretty happy. I can cancel my Sling subscription and just keep Max.
Easily. I already got HBO Max, so why not throw it in there?
I'm literally watching what's it called? Sling just for AEW and Monday Night Raw. I don't even get SmackDown. Well, I don't even watch wrestling on Fridays, so I can't even really complain, but I do catch the clips of everything that matters anyway. So Byron Cutler, man, welcome to the chat. He says Endeavor in WWE is a great
fit.
Great
fit.
Okay. There we go. I think it is too, man. It's all combat sports comes together, man. Can you imagine if AEW got under the same umbrella too?
I can already see it. Once in a lifetime octagon match in WWE. I know they've had it back in the past, years ago.
Steve Kelly says WWE has dancing prime bottles. Yeah. Dancing prime bottles, fully clothed. Matthew Lopez says, I still say maybe Stephanie leaked those records events paying off women.
I mean, you said always,
it. Yeah. You said it, not me.
There's always family conflicts. I mean, and guess what? He won.
That's wild, man. It's crazy to think about.
Don't mess with the guy, the man that beat the steroid trials.
It's a very monumental moment in professional wrestling history, especially WWE, man. For AEW for WWE to be now under another corporate umbrella, not fully owned by Vince McMahon in 2023, to me, it just blows my mind. I never thought that we would see the day until Vince McMahon was long gone. But it's here.
And it was a great movement. I know at the time when this whole talk was coming and Saudi Arabia was involved, everyone got panicked and thought, "Oh, that's it, we're done." And here we are at Endeavor with UFC. I think it's perfect fit for them. It works well.
I'm with it, man. I'm with it. Byron Cutler says I'm expecting a new stage design for Raw and SmackDown. Don't hold your tongue on that one.
Bruce Buffer, WWE. Could you see that?
We're gonna get two new giant LED screens. That's what we're gonna get for a new stage.
Make them bigger. And more AI.
Yeah, it's. I have no words for that, man. How do you feel going in to AEW? So AEW's had kind of like a dark cloud above this promotion. I feel like the dirt sheets have ruined a lot of what AEW's credibility is, because they're showing a lot of true colors behind certain personalities that you really didn't need a peek behind that curtain. How do you feel? What does AEW need right now to kind of pick up momentum and get out of this? Because we've already heard the press conference where Tony Khan has said he's no longer listening to the fans online because they put on banger pay-per-views no matter what. And this was in regard to the booking and the build-up for All Out and All In. He was being criticized, and because they were a success in their eyes, I guess. All In was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I loved that pay-per-view, but All Out was not my favorite show, but it got a 9.2 on Cage Match. If I'm quoting that right.
Yeah, I don't know what you're smoking, but yeah,
it's crazy. I didn't enjoy that pay-per-view. I like the last 4 matches of All Out, but it's Tony Khan
wasn't worth the 54. You know,
no, it was not. Tony Khan saying that, though, it really is interesting to me that he just. I don't care about the booking. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what the fans think about the booking. We're going to deliver on our wrestling. To me, that's not why I started watching wrestling. I want to be captivated.
Look,
It's and you can call it the way, hold on. You can call it the way of WWE if you want. You know, yes, I grew up watching the WWE, but there was also captivation when it came to NWA and WCW. There was always angles, there was always storylines. So, I mean, the fact that we ain't got build up to a match in 2023, we're just putting on cards kind of like
glorified
UFC.
matches. Yeah.
You know, like UFC's like, oh, these guys are going to fight, and that's pretty much it. But that's
Yeah,
a real
like,
fight as compared to a show.
and
So,
UFC even caught into that regard, like, hey, we gotta have some controversy. We gotta start, stuff up. Lesnar, when he went there, how many times did he go off on Frank Mir? He said he said things that got people interested when he fought what's his name to win the beat him for the title years ago. Even UFC knows that's gonna be a moneymaker for no, not Frank Mir, Mexican dude, Cain Velasquez. And it sparked a lot of viewership.
He didn't beat Cain Velasquez for the title.
No, I'm saying Cain beat him for it.
He beat Randy Couture. Wasn't it Randy Couture?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but the point I'm saying though is what got you interested to watch the Attitude Era, the storylines. They weren't the prettiest. They still did them. Vince has done it numerous times. The storylines sucked, but guess what? There's still some soap opera in there.
Everybody had a build.
When you go when you go and see a movie, you want a story. I don't just go there. Oh, well, there was just action fighting. Well, I wanted for a damn story. I don't just go there for one simplicity thing. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the wrestling as a fan, but you got to give me the soap opera. The dream matches. Sure, they're cool and all, but give me some story with it. That's you need that. Like with Tony saying that, I'm not surprised. He comments on every freaking thing. I think he needs to stay off social media at times, numerous times. I mean, how many times was Vince on there? Hell, I don't think he even runs the damn thing.
How old is Tony Khan? He's still pretty young, right?
He is. Come on. 40.
Yeah, so he's really young. So, and he grew up in pretty much the social media era and doing that. So, I don't blame him so much on that. I just kind of want accountability held for what he said to his fans. Why should I pay $50 for your pay-per-view if you don't care about building the pay-per-view for me? You can't just put a matchup on there and expect me to want to pay $50 for your show. Is what I'm saying. What are you?
It worked for Vince. It worked for Vince for many years. Yeah, I was one of those fans. I watched it, on different sites. I wasn't going to pay $60 or $50, whatever it was back then. The storylines weren't the greatest. And guess what? The movie was still moving and moving and moving. Fans believed in it because they're like, well, there's a story. The matches weren't the greatest. The Attitude Era succeeded. It had some downfalls, and then eventually it boomed. The stories were a big thing. The wrestling eventually captivating, got a little better here and there. There's been so many iconic stories, to that day. How many stories can you really name that AEW captivated on that, got the eyeballs on the product? How many times have they got 1 million viewers? They've struggled to do that. They get bashed numerous of times of, fans just passionate of there's empty crowds. Oh, well, it's not the hard cam side, it's the opposite side. It's still, I've seen the numbers. For WrestleTix, gratitude for him all the time for mentioning this. The numbers have dropped significantly when they go back to the same arenas, and it's usually like 1,000 less. They're struggling right now to go to Grand Slam. Last time they were there, 13,000. They barely have 6, and they're advertising buy one get one deals for tickets.
Wrestle Dream in Seattle. I still haven't got my tickets for that, but I think we plan on going to that. They're still like, 2,000 tickets left, and
it'd be way better.
They haven't even opened up half the arena, so half the arena has not even been opened for the.
If that was a WWE event, you wouldn't have no floor seats available at all. I've seen it for Full Gear. There's floor seats available.
Well, that's because they're charging $400 to $500 for floor seats.
It's still a mistake. Yeah, I've went on there. It's still a mistake.
Mine's not a mistake. Mine's not, and it's coming up $407.
Yeah, I'm still getting them at one. Seat. I think you got 8,000. Your guys has got what, 5, 6, maybe? I don't remember how many thousand tickets sold.
It's not that
But
many.
yeah,
Collision
it's not
still
that
has
many.
tickets the night before. It's
Yeah,
it's
you can do,
wild, dude.
you can do all this in Wembley. Do I think they're going to make that 81,000 mark the next time they go to Wembley? I don't think so. I really don't believe it.
Raw
Chicago
and
numbers are going
SmackDown
to
was just
drop.
in the Raw and SmackDown was just in the Pacific Northwest a few months ago, and they sold those same buildings out completely. They're here once a year for Raw and SmackDown, sometimes twice a year, and they sell the entire building, all the way out, just about. I mean, not all, like, not a legit sellout. I don't want to like say this completely wrong, but it's a full arena
Were they
every
even
time.
making money? I mean, would they do those random house shows? I don't even know how much they were making. I know they weren't selling out the arenas for house shows. I don't even know if they were doing any breaking
For
even.
AEW,
Yeah, they've done a few house
I
shows
have no
here and
idea.
there.
I've heard the attendance wasn't that great on those either.
Yeah, yeah. And look, I get it's a territory issue, and WWE has majority stakes in it, which some arenas they've done good and some have not. They've been pissed bad.
But what do you think? What do you think can turn that around, though? Is it not captivation? Like that's what I'm saying. You're not giving people a reason to go and see this product. You can have badass wrestling all over the world. You can have badass wrestling on the independents. You can have it in Impact in front of
Yeah.
500 people. But if you're not telling a story and if you're not giving people a reason to buy the ticket, and not only this, but your ticket prices are going up. You're raising the ticket prices, which
Yeah.
AEW said they were not going to do. There, it was going to be an
Yeah.
affordable
It's a slow,
alternative,
we see
which
the
is out
little
the door now.
increase. Yeah, I seen the increase the second time I went to a Dynamite, wasn't too much of a bump, but it was there. But you need
WWE
stories.
for first
You
3
need
rows.
stories because don't get me wrong, I can get interested as to watch the wrestling, but for a casual, what got you hooked back in the day? You watched it because Hulk Hogan was feuding this guy and there was a story behind it, not because the wrestling match is there. No, you got to give me both. You can't
I
just
remember
give me
when
one.
Andre ripped Hogan's shirt off and scratched him. And I was like, "Oh crap, dude! Like, I don't know if Hogan's gonna beat this guy." I was little, I don't think Hogan's gonna beat this guy. This guy's a monster, Like, it was just so believable, and it was captivating at the time. I mean, I'm sure I'd go back and watch it now and think it's corny, but as a kid watching it, that was a story being told. Fast forward in my life, I get to the Attitude Era. You got Stone Cold raising hell on his boss. You got Val Venus coming out and messing with Ken Shamrock's little sister. You got you got
Yeah,
you got the Heart Foundation and Degeneration X. There's so much stuff going on.
even
Everybody had a story.
even if it's controversial, it's still got eyeballs on the product. Eric Bischoff has said it best: controversy causes cash, makes cash, whatever it was. You know, Vince has done it a number of times. He's done stories and made you scratch your head. It still got you watching. Yeah, it could go crap down, but you're still watching it at the end of the day. Give me something. I don't care how bad it is. Give me some story with it. I don't. I mean, how many? You've said a number of times. I've seen it from AEW side. The tournaments is very weak. Yeah, you're making stories, a little stories of it, but it's a weak.
It's not a
Kind of.
storyline. You have people in these tournaments for a number one contender spot for your top title in your business, and you have Nick Wayne, and you have what's it?
Cage.
Trent Beretta. You have you have a couple of people in here that are nowhere near the top of that line that should even be in this tournament to make it
You're
real.
just
Like
doing it. You're doing the filler option, and let's cut to the chase. We know who's going to win this tournament. Just put certain people in there that is going to be a story maker. Don't just throw them in because we need the film. Like, no offense,
Or how about this?
we had
How
Jay
about
Lethal
this?
and
Don't
Penta
even do the
fight.
tournament. Don't even do the tournament and just have Samoa Joe feud with MJF. That's what it's
let's
going to
just get
come
it in
down
there.
to.
Throw Roderick Strong in there. Boom. You don't need to do a tournament. What is Penta? Why do you got Penta in there? Oh, well, we just need it for what? You can put him in a
Penta makes
story.
more sense than a Trent Beretta or
But
a
what
Nick
I'm saying,
Wayne.
they don't have a story with him. You're just throwing him in to be a filler. Let's just get the story on. Yeah, you don't do those rankings anymore because that was garbage. It wasn't working. You weren't gonna follow it. WWE's done it for numerous times. They didn't follow it. Yeah, it was crap that the way WWE used to do it. Oh, you get the rematch clause, and it would go on for 3 months. They still had a freaking story.
Let's
at
hear
the
from
end
the
of
chat,
day.
guys. What do you think? What do you think AEW needs to do to pick up this momentum? Go ahead and put that in the comments if you guys are still in this
you
chat.
just need to do the stories. Sorry,
Byron Cutler says I am expecting new logos for Raw and SmackDown. That could possibly happen. Matthew Lopez says agree. It's one thing to have banger matches, which I like, but I want to see story build around it to make me watch. Yeah, you gotta drag people in.
He needs to have writers. Tony, I know you're doing all this by yourself. Learn from your dad. He runs a dang NFL team. I know it's a whole different sport. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with wrestling.
You cannot do this by yourself. I'm sorry. You can't. I don't care what you tell me. I don't care if you put in the dream match. That's fine. But you can't be there's the guy respect for you for being a fan, but there's times where you got to be a corporate guy and say, hey, we need some stories. We need something to get you interested to watch the fight. Because I will be honest, I don't care for every dream fight. Some other fans, sure, they can go crazy for it. That's fine.
What happens when you wear your dream fights out?
That's what I'm saying.
Then what do you do?
That's what look, WWE has learned. They booked a WrestleMania match in a year in advance. That's how big of a story it was. John Cena and The Rock. How big did that go? 2 years.
What are they doing right now?
2 years.
What do you expect to see at WrestleMania
Roman
40?
Reigns. Look, Roman Reigns is still going on. He's a champion. Guess what? It still gets you talking. Yeah, a lot of people.
But what do you expect to see at WrestleMania 40, James?
Oh yeah, Cody and Roman.
So what is the talk in WWE? How are we getting Cody to Roman? How are we getting Cody? Like, the fans are ready. And WWE did this strategically.
Yeah.
Like, they knew that Cody is going to finish the story, but how?
Yeah, they plan in advance. I seen Tony does it too, but,
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
Well, not 2 years,
still going.
Whatever.
Just about,
yeah.
Close. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's getting there.
It's a long build.
But you need storylines at the end of the day. They plan it. They plan ahead of time, and if there's a curveball, they'll figure it out.
Everything Pro Wrestling threw up the X's, and then he said, I'm not saying a word. Byron Cutler says Endeavor can do anything they want. Steve Kelly says, very true, Jesse. Byron Cutler says, I want to see some crossover. If you're talking a crossover between UFC and WWE, that's probably going to happen. If you're talking crossover between AEW and WWE, that's never going to happen.
Here's one thing I've noticed. Like, yeah, we, fans cry and bitch about it. Why do you have women tag team titles? Guess what? They still have a story going on, and people still talk about it. With Chelsea Green and whoever her tag partner is, every freaking week they're still going. Yeah, they make numerous of belts. It still got stories going. Yeah, they had a 24/7 title. They had a storyline with it with R-Truth for numerous of times. He was feuding with this person, this person, this person. It might be as ridiculous as it can. They still got you watching.
That's what we call a filler.
It's smart.
That's a proper filler.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Oh, this, the 24/7 title is crap and this and that." What do you do with 3 hours of television? You got to have some filler.
It's hard, Yeah, we give them crap for it, but you know what? Hey, you got to fill it in, and they filled it in.
And R-Truth is entertaining too, so I don't want to hear.
And even when even when you think that WWE has done this and this, and they've, we get tired of doing like the same old contract signing, someone getting put through a table, or just two wrestlers talking it out in the ring. They've done numerous of stories, and they'll recycle it. They don't care. It's smart. It's smart. They're not going to just leave it high and dry and just, these two guys wrestled because the tournament says that's what they need to do. That's not the formula. That's not going to do it.
Yeah. Everything Pro Wrestling says you can watch bangers everywhere. Exactly, man. James, main event of Prestige Roseland 2 when you came down to the Pacific Northwest. What was the main event?
I'm trying to remember. Was it Malachi Black and Davey? Wasn't it Davey Richards?
Yeah.
And they've been going on for years.
Match.
Yeah.
Phenomenal match. Guess where
even the independent scenes. That's and that's the funny thing. Even the independent scenes, they don't get all these wrestlers all the time. Well, how are you going to get me interested? We'll do everything we can. We'll do cameo videos of these two going off in an interview. They'll do everything. You're not just going to put them in a dream fight context and that's it. You got to have a work a story with it. They got to make money off of it as little as they are. So why can't you do it, Tony? You got to do
All I'm
it.
saying is, look, Steve Kelly says more storylines. All I'm saying is, I just personally felt insulted when Tony Khan came out and said, I don't need to listen to anybody's opinions. Like, I'm going to book our shows. This is his thing. He's listening to the dirt sheets. That's the opinions that he needs. Dave Meltzer gave it 5 stars. So why doesn't everybody else like it? Cage Match gave it a 9.2. Why doesn't everybody else like it? You know what I mean? Like, that's blind fandom.
Yeah, and you can't have the two wrestlers like this is what was a WWE formula for Summer Times. Okay, so you have the champion, you have the challenger. Okay, so they get paired up. You're gonna wrestle them. Oh, but you're gonna be in a tag match. They do little by little, just pushing their buttons, and then they push it towards the pay-per-view to do the match. While AEW's thing is, screw it, let's just throw them in the dream match. Let's just get it done with now. I mean,
get it over with, man.
Like the cage match for Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, which was phenomenal, by the way. They waited the time. Yeah, it wasn't the right time. At the time, it should have been on the show, but it didn't. And guess what? It was on a pay-per-view, and it was the match of the night, from what I heard for many people. It worked for them.
It wasn't match of the night for me, man. That Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day was match of the night.
But it was up there. It was. They did a fantastic job.
It was a good match.
They know, like, you can't just put this on a random Raw. It's fine here and there doing it once in a while, but you can't do that. Impact has their strugglings. I've never, to me personally, to get eyeballs for TNA, they've done it. Well, they've done pay-per-views on regular TV for reasons, because they're like, well, no one's better people. Let's just throw it on there. Has it worked? They're still in business for so many years. They do storylines. They might be ridiculous. They've done a storyline where someone gets ran over or someone killed, literally, on TV.
So everything pro wrestling right here says WWE still repeats matches too much. So here's I guess my question for you. If they're wearing out matches too much, or not wearing matches out too much, if they're doing rematches too much, they're not wearing out their other opponents. You know what I mean? So I get it. I get annoyed too from the rematch
that was the big complaint. Don't get me wrong. I got tired of the whole scenario of automatic rematch clause. I was one that like that, but it worked because you can drag it on for 3 pay-per-views wise. It wasn't the best, but it
and then
still
when
worked.
You finally do get a new contender for a title or whatever, you can make it a big deal. Like, oh man, we've never seen this match. Of course you haven't, because you haven't put it on every single Monday Night Raw. You haven't put it on every single SmackDown. You've never put it on television. But
it's
AEW
like the video
is
game.
Like AEW's putting these matches on weekly television all the time. So it's like when it comes down to the pay-per-views, does it really seem like that big of a match anymore?
Because it's like when you play GM mode, what is your deal? It always tells you, well, you got to put these guys in some scenarios every single time facing each other, calling them out or put them in a tag match. You got to do a little, but you can't just do it one time and then expect it, seeing 3 weeks later and expect a big, a lot of eyeballs on it.
Well, it's because fans also like the long-term booking. And when it comes down to long-term booking, you can't just do one match with long-term booking. You book these guys in a feud for a month. It builds that heat. It builds that rivalry. You have the match. Something happens in the match. This was typical booking back in the day. If they had the match and they were going to do rematches, there was some sort of corny finish that happened in the pay-per-view to where it led us to the next match. Nowadays, they're pinning each other clean and then just saying, I deserve a rematch. That doesn't make any sense. You lost.
Remember the disqualify the DQ finishes numbers of years? People hated it. It worked. It worked. It was KO and Sammy against the Judgment Day in different forms, but they're going to keep pushing that rivalry and it's getting talked about over and over and over. They'll keep pushing it.
Yeah.
It probably is not our taste.
I think there's pluses
smart.
and minuses when it comes down to like the whole rematch thing. It's a double-edged sword because your hardcore fans, people that watch wrestling or have converted over to AEW because they got tired of what WWE had to offer because of the rematches and the DQ finishes and stuff like that. They are now getting their rematches and they're kind of tired of it. But at the same time, WWE is not overstaying their welcome when it comes to dream match scenarios, right? Like when we get a new feud, it really is a new feud for the most part. But like I said, it's a double-edged sword, and it's really hard to dance around that thing. I mean, look, dude, AEW has done the same thing. How many times did we see BCC and the Elite. And how many times did BCC lose? They lost every
Yeah,
time.
don't get me wrong. And
so it's like, why were we continuing that? You know what I mean? So
it went over and over, and they just do little, subliminal things in there, like, oh, well, when you're not feeding with them, yeah, but you're throwing hints, and then you're gonna do it again. So, I mean,
right now,
it worked for WCW. I mean, could you imagine them giving Sting and Hogan for weeks and weeks on free television? No, they have to put that on pay-per-view because it was the big damn thing.
Man, I'm not even giving WCW any passes on that feud, man. Check it out. That was the best feud.
Yeah, it was. They screwed that all up.
Starrcade, and then you went on Monday Night Nitro the next night, had the rematch, and then cut off the air during the match. Get out of here. Get out of here. Like that is some terrible television right there. I don't care what anybody says. That was a mockery of the fans, basically. They didn't care about anybody. Hogan rubbed his Fu Manchu and said, "It's not going to work for me, brother. Sting's not beating me clean on live television."
How many times have we seen John Cena and Orton fight numerous times? It still got you watching the product. Yeah, we got bored of it. It still got you watching. It was terrible. Guess what? It still had a story. It still had a story. You were watching AEW's version would be, well, let's just do it over and over.
That was a dark cloud for WWE for me, man. That's too much.
And a lot of it, but now you look at it, it was a memorable match.
It's not a memorable match. I don't remember a single match they had because I was bored. Everything Pro Wrestling said KO and Sammy versus Judgment Day in different forms has been frustrating.
I'll tell you one that's been frustrating for numerous years where they would do a, one-on-one, then it turned into an interference. Oh, let's book a tag match. Oh, let's book it to a three-way, 3-on-3 dance. That was frustrating, but it worked for many years as much as, it still got the feud going on. I understand. It kept the feud strong.
WWE is doing some things that frustrates fans. AEW is definitely doing some things that frustrate me. I can't stand seeing 8-man tag. Look, Survivor Series, I'm going to go on and say it. The worst pay-per-view out of all 4 big pay-per-views WWE does. You know why? Because 8-man tags are lame. Like, I'm just not a fan of that. Give me a traditional tag team match, that's fine. Or if they did the 8-man tag the way that they did it back in, like, what was it, 1991 or 90? I can't remember which one it was, where a winner from each team, either the heels or baby faces, they would go on and they would team at the end, the sole survivors, and that was how they did it. It was a whole pay-per-view full of tag matches. But tuning into Dynamite every single week and getting, trio matches on top of, 8-man tags.
At this Dynamite card, I
haven't seen what's on Dynamite tomorrow either, but it's just, for me, it sucks. Tokyo Domenico says, for a whole month, WWE had the same main event. Yeah, I believe it, man. I mean, like I said, it's that double-edged sword.
You think Sting signed that contract and said, "Oh, I'm just going to wrestle anybody"? There's a story with him every single time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sting
right now,
stuff is pretty good.
So right now you got Roderick Strong and Samoa Joe. Okay, you got a story there. Hangman Adam Page and Brian Cage. They barely just started the story because
you have a story with Strong and Samoa Joe.
Well, because he broke his. Back in when he broke his neck, that was the storyline that he broke.
That was like what, 2 months ago?
I think it was.
So now we're digging back into. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what they're bringing into it.
That is not a story.
They're pushing into the conclusion that he's the one that broke his neck, and then
I'm already checked out from that story. Like, if you've been having Roderick Strong go around crying, about Adam Cole for the past 2 months. Why do I want to?
It's probably the most interesting. It's probably the most interesting thing on the show. Because of Max.
Yeah, interesting.
That's my personal take.
That's the word of the day. Interesting. I don't know, man. I don't know.
The Don Callis thing. I'm sorry,
chat. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Like, what am I missing here when it comes to AEW? This whole thing lately with Punk, the Elite, I think that all started to the decline of AEW back when All Out was going on. From last year. So all out of last year, this happens. All the drama. I feel like the dirt sheets haven't helped anything by just continuing to put personalities out there and put real life scenarios out there. Now all the fans are peeking behind the curtain, and when I see these guys on television, now it just kind of bothers me. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but when I look at, you know, the Elite, I think of what kind of people they are. And when I look at, you know, Matt Hardy, you know, seeing, you know, all of his ass kissing tweets that he's been doing over the past, you know, few months for the Young Bucks. These are all people I still enjoy. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm still an Elite fan. I'm still, you know, a Hardy's fan. But at the end of the day, like, that kind of just puts that dark cloud over the presence of AEW for me, because now I've had this peek behind the curtain that I don't really care to know their personal lives. And it's not so much about CM Punk, because AEW was good before CM Punk, and I feel like AEW can be good again. I'm not hating on the fact that Tony had to fire CM Punk. It's whatever.
Hell, even in the NFL has better storylines than AEW. They know what they're doing.
I think that what really hit me was this past All Out Media Scrum when Tony Khan said what he said about the fans. Just like, I don't care about what people say online. We've proved to deliver over and over. Well, who are you delivering to?
Oh,
are you delivering to me, or are you delivering to Cage Match? Because sounds like
you're delivering to Warner. And then every time Warner Brother Discovery comes on, well, they were number one. They had 1.3 people in there, and that's including records and all this and that. I'm like, stop. Just stop, dude.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think we could put a cap on this episode. But, hey, this Thursday, we are going to be talking some WWE 2K24. Speaking of WWE 2K24, no, I do not think that they are merging with EA. I think that WWE 2K has signed, you know, a multi-year deal. I think that we'll see them with 2K for some time. And I would hate to see a wrestling game made by EA. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but for me, I am sticking by 2K's side. So I don't know. Everything Pro Wrestling said, AEW fans been capping on these shows. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've always had that loyal fan base, though, to where it's just
there's certain ones.
Michael, you know, from the Pro Wrestling Shoot, Michael he's one of those fans that just really loves anything.
Which,
that
look,
AEW
I
does.
get it. It's an alternative because, to be honest, I think that's what, you know, no offense to Michael. Even probably back in the day, like when WWE was eventually whooping WCW's ass, people, you know, I'm pretty sure there was a couple diehard WCW, so I don't care how bad it is, I'm going to watch it. I'm not having this company die whatsoever, just like AEW's the bread and butter. Like, if they're, like, I could tell you this right now, I could be wrong. If Michael came in here, he'd probably say the same thing. If AEW ever fell apart, I don't think he would watch wrestling. Probably independents, he will refuse to watch WWE because it was, you know, why did we watch AEW? Because it was our secondary company to watch. It was doing things that WWE wasn't doing, you know. But WWE was always doing the right things, even though we criticized them for numerous years. That's their, you know, that's your baby. I get it. You want them to succeed, just like at times early 2000s, people changed the channel to go watch TNA, and people were in love with TNA. They didn't want it to go crumble. You know, it's still going on, but it's not the same anymore. I get it. You want to defend that company to your die. You don't want no hatred of it. You don't want nothing negative. You don't want it to die out, because I'd be saddened if AEW went under, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't want a single company around.
There has to be some conclusion. If you're going to criticize one, you got to criticize AEW. They've done some dumb things before. They've recited storylines. I mean, remember when they brought?
Well, James, there's always going to be tribalism in professional wrestling. It's always been there.
I get it.
So,
but accept it when, if one company's going to suck, I'm going to call you on it. Hey, that sucked too.
Yeah, no, that's 100%.
I'm not going to be I'll be loyal to the company, but if it sucks, I'm going to tell you, hey, I didn't
defend WWE more than I probably should on this podcast. And I'll tell you what, I watch AEW way more than I watch WWE. I only catch WWE on Peacock. That's it.
Now with Vince there, you'll probably hear it, but guess what? It's still going to be getting ready. It's still going to crap on AEW easily, even when Vince doing stupid things. Yeah, everyone's crapping that. Oh, well, Nia Jax is signed and Vince is taking over, blah, 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 blah. You're still going to watch it.
When Vince McMahon got allegations and then he came out on Smackdown that following night, he got one of the biggest pops in the world. The WWE fans do not care. about what is going on in Vince's personal life. They know what Vince brought them in their life, and that is the WWE. And they are tribal. It's tribalism. It's tribalism. They are WWE fans. Look, I told you
You
that
even see the
story.
wrestlers have said that, like,
I
oh, I
told you
don't
that
even know why
story.
there's tribalism in this company.
I told you that story. I went to the Dairy Queen the other day. My wife's wearing a Roman Reigns shirt. She walks up to the counter to order her ice cream. The guy behind the counter says, "Oh, are you going to WWE this Saturday?" And she's like, "Oh no, my husband and all the kids are, and my daughter, grandkids, all that stuff." And he's like, "Oh, me too. I'm so excited." And I was like, "Oh, dope, man." I was like, "Are you going to Collision in Seattle or Wrestle Dream?" He's like, "Nah, I don't watch AEW, man. I can't get into it." I don't understand. Look, that's all I do watch is AEW. Do I? I'm complaining about the booking, but at the end of the day, I still find
It's
it
a
more
tribalism.
watchable. I still find it more
Yeah.
watchable than a 3 hour Raw. So, and plus Wednesday for some reason is just one day that I have time to watch TV. You know, like I'm so busy throughout the week. It's ridiculous. But um, that's not so much tribalism. That is just more of an opinion. He just doesn't like AEW. And then he said the one comment he did say, and I'm going to bring this back to Tokyo right here. He said, and I feel like AEW is just going to go under anyway. I can't believe they fired CM Punk. Like, this is a guy that doesn't watch AEW, but acknowledges that CM Punk was their biggest star. Like, that's wild to me.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just crazy. So you have
What
to
put
look at.
WCW on the map? Hulk Hogan and the whole turn of NWO. And that got, I mean, could you imagine they fired Hogan? That company would have rot earlier.
Tokyo says AEW fans just mad Punk. Probably Punk got fired. Even people on Twitter act like AEW didn't exist before Punk. AEW was just fine without Punk. But the problem is AEW brought us a wrestler back that everybody has just really wanted back for many years, because when Punk was hot in WWE, man, he was the hottest star that they had, and WWE just shit the bed on him. So that's what sucks is, we finally get CM Punk back, and we got jealous people in AEW that caused issues with it because CM Punk was at the top. You know what I mean? CM Punk was cool with everybody. You remember, you seen the tweets,
Mm-hmm.
respect the Young Bucks, hugging Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
Yeah.
There was tons of like all these
Yeah.
people, you
They
know what I
okay,
mean?
yeah, they had certain disagreements. Yeah. But
So
you fired one of your biggest stars, like I said. I mean, could you imagine they did this to Hulk Hogan? Like if Eric Bischoff and them and they got into a fight and someone threw a punch, oh, you're gone. That
yeah,
WCW would
no,
have
it wouldn't
died a
happen.
long.
Wouldn't happen because there's different business owners. Tony Khan doesn't. He's not like these old school promoters. It wouldn't have
Yeah.
happened because these old school promoters would have looked at Hogan, or AKA CM Punk, and realized, well, this guy's selling more merch. Jungle Boy, what are you doing for me on TV right now? Are you one of the highest rated segments on Collision? Are you one of the highest merch sellers that I have? Kick rocks, dude. Like,
Like
that's what would have
we
happened.
have given Vince number of times, oh crap, oh this guy should be a star. His merchandise sales are at the top. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he knew what was best for business too. Oh well, he should do a story like this. He didn't care about the fans. They subliminally told you, we don't care what the fans. We know what we're gonna tell you, and either it was bad or good. They still got you watching.
Sorry, Mr. Sosa. I don't need to practice on my swing. I think I got this.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah,
No,
so,
thanks, Terry Funk. I think I got this. Those comments, man. Like, it's
yeah.
it's fact. It's fact. Like, how
You're a
could you
Hall of
not want to
Famer.
root
Yeah,
for
I'm
somebody?
good. I'll be. Don't worry. I'll know how to do it.
It's crazy. Steve Kelly
It's
says keep WWE 2K. I agree, man. I agree. Tokyo says now see WWE fans go to war with UFC fans. I don't know about that, but we fumbled 5 million for Colt F and Cabana.
See,
It's
I
sad,
seen a
man.
comment. I seen a comment. I don't know if this is gonna. We'll see. Like, oh well, this was the plan. WWE fans are gonna now become UFC fans, and UFC fans are gonna become WWE fans. I know a lot of UFC fans that are like, oh, you still watch that fake wrestling? No, it's back and forth.
Tokyo Domina
UFC,
said
it's a whole different
that's
sport.
like if WWE fired Stone Cold or The Rock. Yeah, it's wild, man. So I mean, look, there's a lot of things that we've already covered. I'm not going to get into the whole drama of that, all that stuff that happened between the Elite and CM Punk. Like, go listen to our previous podcast. You can check that out right here on YouTube or on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or Spotify. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, there was some ways that we could have managed that situation that could have turned everything different if we would have not let certain people make choices and call the shots. And, I think that something could have got solved, or maybe, even
there's a lot of management skills.
Just having a meeting in Georgia would have solved it all. But no, we didn't show up to that either.
Oh, because your title says that you're the damn boss. You think Vince McMahon would let anybody stomp around?
Isaiah Hill, Seriously? What's going on, man? You're late to the chat. We're about ready to wrap up. Actually, he said, "Wow, no more Vince." Go back and listen to it, man. We had some Vince McMahon discussion.
You just
Steve Kelly says, "I watch UFC for Dan Ige." My dude. That's my nephew. Go and support him.
Vince, Tony, you had money around the table. Okay, Punk and Jungle Boy fought. You put them in a freaking match. You let them fight it out then. I'm not dropping you. Okay, you guys had your markets. Better fix it in that damn ring then. You're not going to I'm not going to fire you because that's a waste of my money. I'm not letting you go for just pocket change. And now look, this guy can go and crap on, go to WWE and crap on you. It'll be all over Twitter. I know it's at different times, but work things out. Seriously. Because AEW, it's all friends wrestling. It's all empty wrestling. It's getting there. It's saddening to see this. From AEW at the top, when I went to the first AEW LA show, sold out. They can't even sell out Full Gear. They can't even sell at the last show I went to at the Forum. They're struggling. Yeah, they sold Wembley. Yeah, but what do you do it in the U.S.? WWE can do that.
Note, follow us everywhere at the Pro Wrestling Shoot. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. I know I got Twitter up here, but it's X. Go and follow us at the Pro Wrestling Shoot. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, leave us that 5-star rate and a friendly review. And if you're not over here on YouTube and you're listening on the audio podcast, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Come over here on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. It's growing. We're getting at least 150 subscribers a week, which is great. It's huge. We're blowing up, and I'm loving every bit of support that we're getting, man. We're putting out short content, lots of video content over here on the channel. Come and support that. I'm Jesse Carter. He's James Pinard Jr. And we're going to see you this Thursday with a symbol as we talk WWE 2K24. I hope you guys all have a fantastic week. Peace.